You may have seen this video going around. It's called the Final Wealth Warning, and boy does it make a dramatic claim that there's a hidden crisis brewing in the silver market. It's got a lot of people talking. So what's really going on here? In this breakdown, we're going to deconstruct the core arguments, piece by piece, to see what kind of case it's actually making. Let's dive in. Right out of the gate, it starts with this. This is the hook. It's designed to grab you, to create a sense of urgency, maybe even a little bit of paranoia. The message is clear. There are secrets, the stakes are high, and the people in charge don't want you to know something. It immediately makes you lean in and ask, what is it? What are they trying to hide? So what's the big secret? Well, the central thesis of the entire video is that we've been looking at silver all wrong. It's not just a shiny metal for coins or jewelry. Its real value, they argue, comes from pure necessity. The whole argument rests on one powerful idea. Without silver, the modern world as we know it, well, it just stops working. Okay, so the first pillar of their case is what they call the consumption argument. And the idea here is simple but pretty powerful. We're not just using silver, we're using it up. We're burning through it at an incredible rate. Let's look at how they explain that. The video draws a really sharp line in the sand between gold and silver. Think of it this way. Gold, they say, is like a rare book you keep on a shelf. It's valuable, it's stored, it gets passed around. But silver is like the gasoline you put in your car. It's an essential component that gets consumed, used up, and effectively disappears forever. And that idea that silver is being destroyed through use is absolutely central to their whole warning. So where is all this silver going? Well, they point to pretty much everything that defines our modern world. It's in the smartphone that's probably in your hand or pocket right now. It's critical for electric vehicles, for solar panels, for the massive data centers that power artificial intelligence. You name a major tech trend, and according to this argument, it is completely dependent on a steady stream of silver. Now, a key part of this consumption argument comes down to recycling, or really the lack of it. The video claims that because silver is used in such teeny tiny amounts in each device, it's just not economical to get it back. You know, if it costs you $2 to extract $1 worth of silver from an old circuit board, you're just not going to do it. And that effectively makes it a one-way trip for the metal, from the mine to the landfill. So if we're using up silver and it's not coming back, that leads directly into the second major point they make. And that's this idea of a permanent imbalance between what the world needs and what we can actually pull out of the ground. They use a very specific term for this, a structural deficit. Now, that might sound a little technical, but the idea is simple. This isn't just a bad year for mining. It's a permanent condition where we are consistently using more silver than we mine, year after year after year. They present this as a fundamental, deep-seated problem with no easy solution. And here's how they picture it. For years, the world's appetite for silver has been bigger than what the mines can produce. So how have we managed? By dipping into our savings, the existing stockpiles of silver built up over decades. But the core of their argument is that those savings are running low, and the gap between what we want and what we get is only getting wider. To prove this isn't just a theory, the video points to what it calls flashing red signals in the real world. They talk about countries treating silver like a strategic national asset, about physical metal disappearing from major vaults like COMEX and LBMA, and about how it's getting more expensive and taking longer for people to get their hands on actual physical bars and coins. And this, of course, leads to the big question, the central paradox of the whole thing. If silver is so rare and so vital, why isn't the price going to the moon? The video's answer is what it dramatically calls the biggest magic trick in modern finance. This is the puzzle they put right in front of you. After laying out this entire case for a massive, critical shortage, they force you to confront the one thing that doesn't seem to make sense, the price tag. And this question is the perfect setup for their most controversial claim, that the price you see on the screen isn't real. The answer, they say, comes down to two words: paper silver. What is that? Well, think of it like an IOU. It's a financial contract, like an ETF or a futures contract, that promises you own silver. But here's the explosive part of their claim. They allege that there are far more of these IOUs than there is actual physical silver sitting in a vault to back them up. And right there, in their own words, is the mechanism. By flooding the market with these paper contracts, you create the illusion that silver is everywhere. It feels abundant. This massive supply of paper, they argue, acts like a heavy weight, artificially pressing down the price and hiding the true scarcity of the physical metal from the average person. So what's the ultimate danger here? Well, it's what they call the house of cards scenario. It's a classic bank run. The system works perfectly fine as long as everyone believes their silver is there. But what happens if that confidence breaks? What if everyone shows up at once and says, "I don't want the paper anymore, I want my metal"? The source claims the system would instantly collapse because the physical silver simply isn't there to deliver. So to bring it all home, the final part of their argument is that this entire situation isn't new or unique. Instead, they frame it as a predictable historical pattern, a cycle that has supposedly played out with other assets that were undervalued for long periods of time. They lay out this simple four-stage process. First comes suppression, where the price is held down. Then comes denial, where all the experts on TV tell you not to worry, that everything is fine. That's followed by a sudden, violent shock when reality can't be ignored any longer. And finally, you get the revaluation, where the price snaps almost overnight to where it should have been all along. And the video is very clear about where it thinks we are on that timeline. We are, according to them, living in the suppression phase right now. And they don't frame this as a time to be scared. They frame it as an opportunity window, a limited time to position yourself before that window slams shut and the shock phase begins. This quote really captures the entire spirit of their message. It's a prediction of a massive shift in the world, a move away from paper promises, from complex financial games, and a return to things you can actually hold in your hand, things that are real. And in that new world, they position silver as being right at the center of it all. And so, after all the arguments, the industrial consumption, the structural deficit, the paper market, it all comes down to this one final, provocative question that it leaves for you to think about. It lays out the whole case and then turns the final verdict over to you, asking you to decide what it all means and what you're going to do about it.